You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Spring will be here soon, so if buying a new home is on your to-do list, right now is the time to call Quicken Loans. Learn about which mortgage options make sense for you and get a jump on your competition. With our exclusive Rate Shield approval, the low rate you lock today is protected for up to 90 days while you shop for your new home. With a Rate Shield approval, if rates go up, your low rate stays locked. But if rates go down, you get that new, even lower rate. Either way, you win. Talk to us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us. For a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Again, to lock in today's low mortgage interest rate and get the security of our exclusive Rate Shield approval, call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Hi, welcome to the Subway ad for the new Sesame Ginger Glazed Chicken Signature Wrap. How would you like it?
I'll take a...
Sports announcer at home?
Yeah, how'd you...
We just know.
My wife picks up the new Signature Wrap. It's got double the rotisserie-style chicken mixed with a sesame ginger glaze. She appears annoyed at me, but she shrugs it off. Those sweet and savory flavors are calling her name. She lifts the wrap and... she takes the bite! Incredible! And now she's closing the door on my... Subway, make it what you want.
Limited time only at participating restaurants. Double meat based on average 6-inch sub.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Dad, thanks for taking me bowling. This is fun.
I just wanted to talk to you about protecting yourself.
Dad.
You know, at some point, maybe you're posting dance vids at a party.
Dance vids?
Yeah, the dance vids. And people around you are using cable internet. You can always call me or your mom and we'll come get you. No questions asked.
Dad, I know to use internet with AT&T Fiber.
You know, it's just the people with cable internet, they could have the upload speeds of internet with AT&T Fiber and they choose not to. They're not thinking, son.
Dad, I'll be okay.
Hey, good talk, right? All right, you're up, big guy.
Don't get mixed up with cable internet. Switch to AT&T Fiber. Sign up at att.com/fiber300 and get faster upload speeds of up to 300 megabits per second for $40 a month for 12 months. Limited availability. May not be in your area. Check eligibility at att.com/fiber300. Ends 5/31/19. New residential customers in select markets only. Requires 12-month agreement. Includes Internet 300 when bundled with other qualifying minimum $19 per month service on one bill. Early termination, taxes, other charges, and restrictions apply. Compares upload speeds for Internet 300 of up to 300 megabits per second to up to 35 for Comcast, Cox, and Spectrum. Speeds vary, not guaranteed.
USA Radio News with Robin Walensky.
I'll meet with him directly, yes. I'll be meeting with President Xi of China.
President Trump there announcing he will meet with the president of China next month in Osaka, Japan. Still the stock market deep in the red because of the tariffs imposed, the Dow dropping a whopping 617 points to close at 25,324. That's the biggest single-day loss since January. The Nasdaq down almost 270 points. The S&P 500 off 69 points.
We had a deal with China. It was 95% there. And then my representatives, as you know, Secretary Mnuchin and Bob Lighthizer, Ambassador Lighthizer, they went to China and they were told the things that were fully agreed to, we're not going to get anymore. They're going to unagree to them. That's not acceptable. I said, good, that's fine. Put on the tariffs.
You're listening to USA Radio News. Former President Jimmy Carter, who is 94, recovering from surgery after falling and breaking his hip at his home in Plains, Georgia. Carter was on his way to a turkey hunt. This fall, the latest health scare for Carter, who was diagnosed with melanoma that spread to his brain and liver back in 2015. Doris Day, one of Hollywood's most popular stars in the 50s and 60s, has died. She was 97 years old. A funeral service and a 12-mile procession bringing traffic on I-10 to a standstill as hundreds of police officers from across the country attend the service for Biloxi police officer Robert McKeithen. He was ambushed and shot to death in front of Biloxi police headquarters by a 19-year-old man, Darian Tawan Atkinson. He's under arrest and charged with murder. This is USA Radio News. To D.C. now, where the Supreme Court rules in a large antitrust case. USA Radio's Chris Barnes reports from Washington.
The U.S. Supreme Court ruling against Apple in the case. It says iPhone users can sue Apple for alleged monopolization. Plaintiffs arguing that Apple's monopoly over the company's App Store has led to inflated app prices across the board. That ruling allows a class action lawsuit against Apple to move forward. For USA Radio News, I'm Chris Barnes.
The Pentagon apparently shifting more money to help secure our southern border with Mexico. USA Radio's Tim Berg explains.
Acting Defense Secretary Patrick Shanahan visited the border town of McAllen, Texas over the weekend, and he says the Pentagon is going to do what they need to do to help keep our border between the United States and Mexico safe. Brandon Judd, president of the National Border Patrol Council, says the only reason the Pentagon has to step in is because
Congress isn't doing their job, the president is left to use his authorities to actually look at ways that he can solve a crisis. If Congress would actually step up, we wouldn't need the Department of Defense, but because they're not stepping up, the president has to step in and he has to solve this problem on his own. Remember, you don't accept nominations for political appointees to be popular. You accept nomination to be a political appointee to do your job, and we have to have DHS do that.
Judd was speaking there on Fox News.
For USA Radio News, I'm Robin Walensky.
Today at Whataburger, we're cooking the Buffalo Ranch chicken strip sandwich.
You asked for it, and it's back.
We got 3 chicken strips, 2 slices of Monterey Jack cheese, topped with Whataburger's own buffalo sauce, a little bit of buttermilk ranch, all between a toasted bun.
Chicken sandwich on its own is good. Chicken sandwich with buffalo sauce is fantastic. It really wakes up the chicken sandwich.
It's crunchy, and then it's spicy, and then it's full. Your mouth is exploding with flavor.
Whataburger's Buffalo Ranch chicken strip sandwich. That's back, and it's only here for a limited time.
I take a breath, I'm not gonna lose. This is what I came here to do.
Keep on doing what you do, Rick. You're my favorite host. Favorite host.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
It's time to hear the truth about America's biggest challenges. You're listening to America Off the Rails with your host, Rick Robinson.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the program. I am Rick Robinson. We are live right here on KLRA and radio.com, where liberty and reason still reign. We are live. It is Monday, May 13th, 2019, and I have a guest with us this evening. We're going to bring her on without much more discussion. You may know her from Twitter as at LA Dowd. I know her as Leslie. You also know her as the voice behind our disclaimer. Speaking of which, since I forgot to play it, why don't you do us the honors live?
The following program might contain sensitive material. Listener discretion is advised.
There we go. All right, so Miss Leslie, so you have been having a bit of a a hilarity fest, I guess, over most of the weekend. And the first thing you said was, you actually hit me up in the green room and said, okay, so who's having me on the show so we can talk about the craziness that's going on with this sex strike crap. So, you're the guest. I'll let you lead off. So, what was the first thing you thought of when you saw Alyssa Milano start talking about not having sex with people because of abortion?
Well, first of all, good evening, Rick.
Good evening.
Nice to hear from you. I miss you. Nice to hear from you.
We talk all the time.
Okay. So, holy moly. This was one of the funniest weekends on social media in my recent memory. And the thing is that it did not start with Alyssa Milano. It started the day before with some other lady who declared a sex strike specifically against conservative men.
So wait, she wasn't the one that actually started it? Because I saw a bunch of people tweeting it, but I thought she was the one that started it. So it actually was started by somebody else?
I don't know. That other girl, did you look? I have to make a disclaimer for the audience in case they have not seen my tweets earlier today. This entire show is going to be 50% us just laughing, 30%. I revised it recently, right, Rick? 15% content, 15% me telling old dirty jokes from the 70s and 80s later in the show, and then 20% me just making you blush.
Well, yeah, I'm sure by the end of the show I will blush quite a bit.
So everybody's got to get ready for just a whole lot of laughing right now. So this lady on Saturday makes some gigantic declaration about just don't have sex with conservative men. But she didn't do the hashtag with the sex strike, and Bunny saw it and I saw it, and we're both like, I don't think conservative men are worried about y'all. And Bunny, of course, lifted up her husband, as she should. And I'm just like, okay, I don't think conservative men are looking for you all. And that's when I put my own tweet which I reused my tweet, which, I guess that's against, the finer points of Twitter etiquette, but I don't care. But I'm just like, I'm certainly worried about conservative men losing out on that hot action of the hysterical harpy baby killers. I'm sure all the men nationwide are heartbroken that they're going to miss out on that action. I think the whole thing started from that woman. And then who I think is, I don't know. She's a blue check woman. I don't know who she is. I don't know if she's like some sort of elected official somewhere or some sort of media person somewhere. But she was a blue check woman. And then the next day, Alyssa Milano just called for a general sex strike. Okay. What are you doing?
So here's my thing with Alyssa Milano, real quick, and then I'll let you continue.
I really want to hear you to say not only your opinion about it as a pundit, but as a dude. I want to hear your opinion about it.
Well, I mean, just in particular, first of all, I really wish Alyssa Milano would just learn to shut up, because she's destroyed my entire childhood, because I had a huge crush on her as a kid. It's dead now.
Oh my God.
I did. I mean, I'm not going to lie about it. Actually, it was on KOKC today for a little bit, talking about it with the guys on the ride. And I said, she's destroyed my entire childhood, because I had the biggest crush on her.
And now is an angle that nobody talks about.
And now that I know she's crazy, she just killed all of it. But
Rick, this is an angle that nobody talks about it outside of KLR and radio.
Oh no, we were talking about it on the local station today because I was on there for a few minutes. But yeah, so
where, who, where?
KOKC. I called in and talked to him for like 15 minutes today. They were talking about it, so I was like, "Hey,
I totally forgot this point. This would be as if well, I don't want to say Tony Danza because it's the same show, but this is an excellent point. It's like Farrah Fawcett, God rest her soul. If she were still alive, she'd be like, yeah, if you eat meat, you're a killer. You know, I'm trying to think of the converse for a lady. Well, I really can't because, but I'm totally with you. And this is an undersold story about this whole thing.
All right, now, yeah, I mean, and exactly. So that's point one. First of all, this isn't the first time that she's gone completely crazy on Twitter and on social media. Second of all, this one annoys me a bit because I'm pretty sure the only reason she's calling for hashtag sex strike is because her own husband would rather bang a hooker.
Yeah, please elaborate on that because I didn't know this before this weekend.
Oh no, it's just my opinion. It was me being facetious because I know she's married. I don't know to whom. However, I'm pretty sure with as crazy as she is, he'd rather leave a chick at 20 on the dresser and just leave than touch her. But that's just me.
Well, we know in this day and age, just any sort of allusion to anything now becomes complete fact according to the media in this day and age. So why not?
Yeah, why not? But yeah, I mean, the whole thing is just crazy to me because she's gone a step further. So she started with hashtag sex strike, right? So then she puts out a tweet today talking about purity rings and abstinence.
Say what now? This is new to me.
You didn't see the tweet today?
No. Oh, this is good. This is a nice surprise to me. So
what happened? She put out a tweet today talking about that she was gonna. I have to see if I can find the tweet. But anyway, I know for a fact because we were talking about it again on the other station. She put out a tweet today talking about purity rings, and at the same time, while she's talking about purity rings, she's basically adopting the conservative stance on abortion from the 90s. But from a completely different perspective. Because now it's not, let's not have sex because we don't want to have an abortion or because we're worried about spreading diseases, etc. Now it's... Go ahead.
Or because we don't want to have a child until we're ready to be a nuclear family.
Yeah. But so now now they're coming at the same argument from a completely different perspective. Don't have sex because the conservatives won't let you kill your kid if you don't want to.
Right. You're telling me this happened today?
Yeah, it happened today.
Okay, so let's get back to the most important point. So how is the sex strike going for you, Rick?
I'm happily married and we are together quite often, so it hasn't affected
So the sex strike is failing in your life, is what you're saying.
So let me just give everybody a helicopter overview of the sex strike, because right now all the liberals are going nuts. They're freaking out. Oh my God, we can't have sex ever again. The conservatives over here going, haha, we need a safe word.
What?
I mean, come on.
Did you say safe word?
Yes, I said safe word.
What's the safe word?
I figured we might as well just use sex strike as a safe word.
Milano. I'm gonna interrupt you right here about a safe word that I used to use, but it's not really a safe word. But if any conservatives out there want to consider a safe word, I had a former podcast co-host that Rick knows and everybody knows, and we talk a lot on the phone. And when the phone signal would be like dying out because we were in a bad area or whatever, and we couldn't hear each other very well on the phone, our signal to each other. Our signal to each other, we couldn't hear each other any well, was false flag. False flag.
Nice.
False flag. So, it wasn't necessarily a safe word between us, but it was like a code word to say, like, you're breaking up on the cell. So I would suggest this as a lovely safe word for any conservatives that need a safe word. False flag.
But so let's back. So, honestly, I mean, that I don't know, maybe too many syllables. You want your safe word to be easy to say, but maybe I've said too much there. But anyway.
Wait. 2 syllables is too many syllables.
Apparently, you've never had to use a safe word. It's kind of hard to say.
Oh my
God!
No, I have not. Oh my God!
You're living life wrong if you've never had to use a safe word. I'm just saying.
It's a good thing you mark this as not to be picked up by the affiliates.
Yes, it's already being done. Trust me. This one will be KLRN only, because otherwise I'm going to get fired from everywhere else that carries my show. Oh, but that's okay. So to back up for a second, safe word notwithstanding, I just the logic of this whole idea of the liberal women who don't shave, rarely shower, don't know what deodorant is, and even if they did, don't use it, suddenly saying we're not going to have sex. I don't see very many men complaining about this.
Right, and I think that that's the easy fodder for the jokes. Okay, because I know we all know that there is a vast swath of very leftist women who operate that way. There is and certainly myself being in Massachusetts, I know that there's a other larger swath of women who are like normal looking, normal living, normal professional women who are also Democrats and leaning left and trying to navigate their feelings around women, quote unquote women's rights, which we know is bullshit, but they're not like that. So I did not want to come into this podcast with the obvious jokes. I didn't want to come in here with the obvious, sex strike, of course, nobody will want to, but I mean, certainly the people that they kind of put up there as their champions, yeah, they're real ugly, but I'm trying to eschew the obvious jokes, but the real jokes are like, the feminists actually got ahead of me because there were a bunch of prominent feminists that took Alyssa Milano to task and say, what are you doing? I'm sorry. Isn't the whole point of feminism that our sexuality is not a commodity and we're more than our sexuality and whatever? And this is what, Ricky, is absolutely glorious to me and to all of it. It's absolutely glorious. The fact that we conservatives, to me, I don't know, maybe there are things happening outside of my awareness, but conservatives are consistent in our ideology from the top to the bottom, from the top of our whatever our religion is down to the bottom of whatever our our base sexuality is. We're consistent like all the way, and that's what makes me proud to be in my life as a conservative, to be consistent, that I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say, I want to kill all my babies and then, I'm mad at somebody, I'm going to withhold with sex from them. It's just, there's a shit ton of hypocrisy on the left. And this is Alyssa Milano is getting heat from it. And a whole bunch of feminists are going back at her and saying, what are you talking about? You're going to withhold sex from men? Well, isn't the whole point that we're not just vaginas? Isn't the whole point that we're not just sex objects? But then, I'm sorry, 2-3 years ago, y'all made the slut walks. I'm sorry, Ricky, I'm sorry. You all have a whole outfit called Code Pink that humans dress up themselves head to toe being vaginas.
Let's not forget the vagina hats.
Right! Oh my God! Yeah, the pussy hats. Excuse me. Those hats. It's like, well, which is it? Which is it? Are you completely your body part? Lady parts, remember? Vote with my lady parts. I vote with my... I'm sorry, which is it? Which is it? And there is no similar movement on the right for conservative women about anything like that. And I think that this is a big deal. And I think that this deserves more attention. And I'm very proud, very, very proud to be a part of this, because conservative women understand that it's not about any particular part of me. It's about me as a whole person, and quite frankly, as a whole child of God, or whatever God anybody sees. But I'm as a whole person, a whole contributor to society, just like every woman around me, just like every man around me. We are whole people. And the only ideology, there's a whole bunch of ideologies that want to make us not whole people. But the only ideology that does recognize us as whole people is the ideology of individual freedom. And that's the ideology that God, in my opinion, God gave down to us for the United States of America, for Western freedom. To me personally, that's the ideology of Christianity, but not everybody has to agree to that. But it's the ideology that has been implemented in the United States of America with our United States Constitution. And that's why, Ricky, I fight for it. That's why I fight for it. And I think as a woman, when this bullshit sex right shit comes up, this abortion, ridiculous argument that to try to save a baby is somehow infringing on a woman's rights or trying to entrap a woman or whatever. That's why I think we need to stand up. And also, as a Middle Eastern woman, when people illegitimately think that Islamism and radical Islam, it should be embraced. As a Middle Eastern woman, I feel like it's my job to reject those bullshit stories.
No, and I applaud those of you that do stand up against the craziness, because let's not forget, this all started because of a bill that was, passed in Georgia that they made into this whole patriarchy thing. The bill was predominantly authored, there were lots of women involved in this thing.
That's right.
So, and they don't seem to touch on that part of it. But
that's right.
We're a little bit late for our first break, so we're going to play catch-up and take one at the bottom of the hour. Parting thought on the way out before we go to break. All I know is if leftist women are going to vote with their lady parts, the voting booths are going to need a lot more sanitizer. This is Rick Robinson. We will be right back. This is America Off the Rails. Don't go away.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
All right, folks, welcome back. Hope you've had a great Monday. Thank you for joining us right here Monday night on KLRNradio.com for America Off the Rails. Again, typically we take a lot more commercials during the show, but since I opted that we're going to make sure this one doesn't go out to any of the places that may or may not air the show terrestrially, because I don't want to lose my job, we'll probably take a few less breaks tonight, mainly because I have a really good guest on. And I don't want to keep having to say, hey, we got to take a break. So we only have about 27 minutes left of the show anyway, so we will probably go commercial free to the top of the hour, since this one's staying on KLRN anyway. You'll still be, if you're tuning in and you want to hear the rest of it, it will still be on places like iHeart and everywhere else. If you've missed part of it, it just will not be going over to any of the other affiliates where you can hear the show. So before we change topics, Leslie promised me some dirty jokes, and I'm gonna make her tell them.
Well, I didn't expect this intro, but Rick, what I wanted to ask you is, how are you doing with the sex strike?
Oh, actually, you did ask me that already. I'm doing perfectly. I'm doing perfectly fine with the sex strike, because I didn't marry a liberal crazy person. So yeah.
But the question is, are you still the master of your domain?
There's a reason we have to have a safe word. Let's just say it's not for me.
Okay. I'm sorry, baby. You blew it. This was the old Seinfeld.
Oh,
joke.
yep.
The old Seinfeld.
Oh, you see, I knew I wasn't going to get the reference. I wasn't a big Seinfeld fan, so I didn't.
Okay.
It's my fault. I blew it.
Well, you blew it. Okay. And then it's like, oh, are you still the master of you? I'm the queen of the castle.
Well, of course, I'm not going to say I'm queen of the castle. That puts a whole new spin on things. I don't know.
Well, everybody in the chat will understand that, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, it's not your fault. I never really watched Seinfeld that much, so never really been a huge fan of sitcoms. So,
all right, I have an old joke that I've been coincidentally sharing with some of my friends with regard to the sex strike. It's not even really related to the sex strike, but it's funny. The old days comedian Buddy Hackett, underrated comedian Buddy Hackett, who came up with Bob Hope and John Rickles and all them, had two jokes, but I'm probably only going to have room for one about, and I'm really only enjoying this because there's this sex strike, and hey, you dumb bitches, do you really think that that's going to help you at all? That's kind of the thing. It's just like, it doesn't help them with their own effort because you're supposed to be a feminist, and that means you're supposed to own your own sexuality. And Ricky, don't you remember when there was like a slut walk? There was like a whole bunch of slut walks a few years ago.
Yeah. I do actually. I also remember a very prominent Democratic woman selling T-shirts that said she was a nasty woman.
Right. Remember that? But
Yeah.
now all of a sudden the idea is, oh, we're not gonna have sex with our men because we're traditional women and we're not, and then that's gonna make us powerful to withhold sex. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, no, I was hoping you were going to be able to explain it to me because as a guy,
Really?
I really don't get it. I mean, I was hoping the female perspective might be able to maybe decipher some of this for me because it really makes no sense from either a female or a feminist perspective. Because Alyssa Milano and all these people that are, it's like you said earlier, all these people that are screaming for a sex strike just brought feminism back 60 years because now you're nothing but your vagina again.
Right. Well, so I guess I did explain it for you. Whatever. It's just, and again, the hypocrisy. When you live in a consistent world, you don't have to flail. You don't have to flail like that. Anyway, all right. So here's the dirty joke. And by the way, also when you live in a consistent world, you can appreciate dirty jokes. So I'm going to give you Buddy Hackett, who came up with John Rickles and Bob Hope and Johnny Carson and all them. And Buddy Hackett has this joke. He has two. A gentleman in his 80s was in love with a young lady in her 30s, and they were in love, but the gentleman didn't have, he went to his doctor. He said, "Doc, I don't know what to do. I'm in love with this woman, and I have the appetite, but not the equipment." And the doctor says, "No worries. We have a new technology here where what we do is we take a baby elephant trunk and attach it to your penis." And the guy is, recoiled in fear. He's like, wait, what are you talking about? He's like, no, this has been very successful in clinical trials. We just touch this, and it's just a baby elephant trunk. Nobody's going to know the difference. We attach that to the end of you, and it's been very successful. And the fiance is like, let's do it. And okay, so they did that, and then now they're going to go get married, and they're at the rehearsal dinner of the wedding, in the long table, and they're all there together, and the bride is very excited, and she starts rubbing on the thigh of the groom and just kind of rubbing on that, and kind of unzips his pants and starts touching on the trunk. And then all of a sudden they serve the dinner, and the trunk reaches up, grabs a baked potato, and goes back down.
Wow. That's terrifying.
Yes, it is. And of everybody on the table is completely terrified. This is the Buddy Hackett joke, dude. And everybody on the table is clear. And the mother-in-law, the mother of the bride, says, I don't know what I just saw. Can you do that again? Because, in a rehearsal dinner, you generally don't see that. Can you do that again? And the old groom says, well, I could, but I don't think I have another room for another baked potato in my ass.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
That's a Buddy Hackett joke from 1980.
Oh, and I thought Buddy Hackett was such a nice guy. No, I'm just playing. That actually turned into a fairly funny joke. I wasn't sure where we were going for a minute there.
I told you what I was going to do.
Oh.
The other thing, what he said is the side joke. He's like, wait, you talking about elephants? Have you ever... Rick? He says, have you heard about, the wallet made of elephant foreskin that when you rub it, it turns into a suitcase?
Wow. I don't think I'll ever be the same again after that last one. Well, we're pretty much keeping to our word. It's been about 30% us laughing, 15% topic. So speaking of topics, we've only got about 17 minutes left of the show, believe it or not. And I know you wanted to talk about the Gaggle of Dem Hopefuls that we're up to like 11 now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think they have much of a hope, to be honest, unless they can get the House to stop shutting up about we've got to impeach Trump, because they're starting to lose the late night hosts, and that tells you something.
They started to lose what, honey?
The late night hosts.
Yeah.
When even they're saying, okay, either do something about it or shut up, then it's time to either do something about it or shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the same story. They've been saying the same thing now for years, and now we've got Bernie Sanders, who isn't an actual socialist but just plays one in D.C. And then we've got, there's so many I can't even keep up with them all anymore. There was another one that announced not too long ago, and I'm just like, One of them I found out because I wasn't sure because I didn't recognize the name at first. I guess one of them announced completely as a joke. He wants to raise enough money to be on the stage so he can look them all in the eye and tell them they're insane.
Oh, I don't know that. Who's that?
I'll have to find his name. We were talking about it the other day, but I can't think of his name now. I don't think anybody's heard me in the chat yet. But I know Ordy knows his name because they were talking about him. He's in there somewhere, so I'll probably chime in a minute because he'll probably find it before I will. But it's just the idea. See, so 2016 terrified me because there were like 4 million Republicans, and only 2 of them I actually wanted to win, neither of whom did.
Right.
But I'm kind of looking forward to the craziness being on this side this time, only because,
of course,
I mean, we're watching the feminists basically eat their own right now. The Democrat politicals are eating their own right now. I mean, this is something I thought I would never see. The Democrats are always really good at staying on message, but what I'm finding out is that's because they have a lot of organizations behind them helping them stay on message. And after a while, when they get to a certain point, they stop seeming to take cues from those organizations, and it all falls apart. But I don't know. So, I mean, I don't know. The only thing I can think at this point is if something does happen. I mean, at this point, all I'm going to say about 2020 is the economy is either going to be Trump's best friend or his worst enemy. Because if something happens to the economy between then and now, there's no telling. If the economy keeps doing what it's doing right now, I don't see a Dem beating him. But that's just...
Well, you said a lot. You said a lot. I am very much enjoying the Avengers Endgame that's going to be happening with this Democrat primary. I think they already wiped out Beto.
Who?
I think they wiped out Beto because they replaced Beto with that other gay mayor.
Oh, Buttigieg.
Right. So it's like, oh, we don't need him. We don't need him no more. We got him. Right.
Yeah, but his whole thing is his whole shtick the entire time is, look at me, I'm gay, and all of America says we don't care, and he's like, but look at me, I'm gay, and we're like, who cares?
Right, but he's right. So again, we're saying that I'm with you that it'll be delightful for them to eliminate each other. It's like the Big Brother, reality show, Big Brother. It's just get everybody else out of the house, and who's going to win? Or
yeah, no,
I don't know. But the biggest thing that I hope is going to stick with the electorate is like, hey, not one of you assholes has any plan for the American people. And I mean, am I crazy? If I know I've been busy with my own life, but am I crazy, Ricky, with saying like, I'm sorry, what are any of you proposing to do for the American people? Did I miss that? Did I miss that message?
Yeah, no, they don't have it. All they have is Orange Man bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they're beating the same drums over and over again. You turn on the news and it's constitutional crisis, constitutional crisis, constitutional crisis. Trump is
bullshit,
a traitor.
Right? Bullshit.
Exactly. I mean, the whole thing, the thing that nobody's talking about, and I mean pretty much nobody, I've heard it referenced a few times on here, Trump quietly behind the scenes has done more to restore the checks and balances in this country than pretty much any other president in forever.
That's right.
Also, Ordy did eventually chime in the chat. Thank you, sir. He said it's Ami Horowitz. That's the person I was looking for that basically has started a campaign just to get onto the debate stage so I can tell them all they're nuts, which I thought was funny. I actually gave him a couple bucks. I figure if I can help get him on the stage just to look at them all live on camera and be like, you're all morons. I'm like, yeah, I'll give you a couple bucks for that. So, yeah.
But you can't. Here's the thing: you can't because the networks control who's getting on the stage.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he probably won't ever get there. I still give him a couple bucks anyway, just because I'm being hopeful.
So good
because it would be fun and entertaining. So the other thing that has most of the media outlets completely ticked off right now about the left candidates is they're actually being trained how to do interviews on Fox News because they figured out nobody watches the other crap. I mean, honestly, at this point, I'm not even sure who watches Fox News anymore because I turn it on very rarely. But I do know that,
honey, plenty of us we're evolved, but there are plenty of people that don't want to bother with Twitter or Facebook, and all the rest of them just stick with Fox News, and that's fine.
But it's just funny because I think it was one of the CNN talking heads that started tweeting out about it and was having a complete and total meltdown. And for some reason, his name is escaping me right now. This is what happens when I try to do a show after I've had a nonstop weekend of getting ready for graduation and Mother's Day and everything else. But anyway, so it was just funny because he was just completely freaking out. And the first thing I thought when I read that was, get back here and help me save my job. Because this was also around the time that CNN announced that they had put together a package for for hundreds of people to get buyouts. And they're like, but we're not letting anyone off. And we're like, not yet. Because that was round one. But so anyway. All right, so believe it or not, we've only got about 10 minutes left.
Awesome.
Doesn't seem like we've already been on for almost an hour. So as far as anybody that you want to see on the debate stage for that first set of debates on the left, who are you hoping to see get taken out first?
Oh, this is an interesting question because I was really hoping to not watch any of that. I remember the 2016 election, and that was painful because I was fangirl certainly for Carly Fiorina, and then I was loved all of them as they got cut out, and I was devastated that Trump was the one. I was devastated, and I didn't vote for him, which everybody knows I didn't vote for him. And I couldn't believe I couldn't believe. This is cathartic, Rick. This is cathartic. No, I couldn't believe that he won. And what are you going to do? And I said on Facebook, I'm like, hey, I don't like that he won. I like that she lost, and I don't like that he won, And there was like that was like a real reality show. I just saw all my favorites just go down. On this Democratic stage, I really don't care. I really don't care. What you're asking me, I think, is to gamble on who's going to be the best or worst against Trump. I don't care.
Well, no. I don't care. What I'm specifically asking is, which one do you want to see get taken out at the knees first?
I don't care.
See, I'm the exact opposite. I think I'm going to enjoy it a little bit more this time because it's not our side that's going to be acting a fool.
Yeah.
For the most part. Although we have had, what's his name, already say that he was going to try to primary Trump. I'm like, no.
Who?
Bill Weld. The former...
my former governor.
Yeah, the former Libertarian vice presidential candidate has already announced that he's going to try to primary Trump.
No,
so, yeah,
I'm sorry. That's a different story if you wouldn't start talking about that.
Sure.
But, no, it's these people. I don't care. I don't care. Who do you want to go down first?
Honestly, the one I would love to see taken down first would probably be Sanders, but I think he'll be one of the last ones standing again.
You know why? And this is why it's delicious, honey. I'm dying with joy that the greatest guys in the Democrat Party are the old white guys, and it's delicious.
Yeah, that is kind of funny to think about when you think about, well, we're the party of diversity, we welcome everybody, and then, their top candidates typically always wind up being old and white.
Yes, honey, because they can do whatever they want in the media, and they can do whatever they want in the fake world, but then now the voters, they're pulling on the actual voters, and the voters are like, hey, we like these old white guys, and you people are fucking freaks, and I'm totally living for all of this actual facts and data.
So, one last point that I thought would be interesting to bring up, because I saw a study that came out today, because, everybody's worried about how far left the Democratic Party is trying to go. The Democratic Party as a whole is not nearly as far left as we think. As an example, and I've mentioned this poll before, everybody started freaking out because the last time there was a poll done for people, I believe it was 26 and under, about 80% of them said that they thought socialism was the way to go. Problem was about 10% of them thought socialism was being on things like Facebook and Twitter. So I'm not even sure most of them knew what they were talking about. Also, another interesting thing is most of the people that have been polled recently aren't falling in line behind AOC and the junior classmen's ideas for what they want. Like the Green New Deal and all that stuff. Apparently, they're not falling in lockstep with those as much as they had hoped they would.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting.
Well, of course. It would be wonderful. Because I think it's important, Rick, for us to have various viewpoints by prominent people for different viewpoints of how to govern the country. But you do it with civility and not hatred and like trying to dominate on the other side. And I hope that we will get back to that someday. But oh my God, the left is completely insane. So see what we got to do.
Yeah, no, pretty much. All right, so believe it or not, that's going to just about do it for this particular episode. In a minute, I'll remember how to talk. Why don't you remind folks where they can hang out with you when you're not on the show hanging out with us?
I'm on Twitter, L.A. Dowd, Ladowd.
And if you're not following her, you should be. Just saying. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this particular episode of America Off the Rails. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and making your Monday night just a little bit better, or my Monday night even better by hanging out with us. We'll be back tomorrow night with a double shot right here on KLRN Radio. First, Jen and Rick, then America Off the Rails. And just remember, in the words of Bill S. Preston Esquire and Ted Theodore Logan, until I see you again, be excellent to each other. Take care and God bless.
I keep swinging for the fences. It's like this heart is defenseless against a passion that's pumping through my veins. Blood, sweat, and tears, it's a calling.
Screw you guys. I'm going home. Later.
Game over, man. It's game over.